Hey guys, what's going? Well, that's nice. What's going on? I'm Shorty SX, and today I have a very interesting commentary for you guys because I'm talking about something I've wanted to talk to you for a while, and that is one of the main differences I've actually noticed between myself and, let's say, most of my friends, or actually most people I know who play this game. And at the same time, it's the one difference that I always give the most credit to for, let's say, pretty much anything good you've ever seen about my playstyle or skill with a sniper or anything like that. I usually attribute to this one fact. And it's the fact that I rarely ever rage quit. And by rage quit, of course, I mean, leaving a game or leaving a lobby just because you're frustrated with the game and you've had enough and, you're having a bad time and you just rage quit halfway through instead of finishing the game or instead of trying to actually overcome whatever is frustrating you. So, let me talk about the gameplay real quick. The reason I've chosen this gameplay is because it starts off really badly. As in, it's not a horrible gameplay because I actually end up with a pretty good score and, well, I go on a crazy long streak towards the end. But the point is, it starts off in a very bad way for myself. Now, of course, I could have uploaded a much worse gameplay, but sadly then nobody would watch this video and nobody would take me seriously, so in the interest of teaching you guys something, here it is. So the reason I chose this is because it starts off in a really bad way for me, as in like I'm missing shots, I'm not playing well, and that is usually the one thing that manages to frustrate me is when I know I'm not doing my best. Like, look at this, perfect example. It's just, what am I doing? Like, that's just bad play. But the point is, I stick with it and I come back from it. But let me tell you why I never rage quit. So, of course, there's the moral reason in terms of like, well, years ago when I used to play, let's say, Counter-Strike and stuff like that, the rage quitting was not popular. In fact, anyone who did it was kind of just like laughed at and like, look at that sword loser, So it's really a new thing in many ways for me because right now it's popular. It has a fancy name like, oh, rage quitting. Everyone knows what you're talking about. And at the same time, I think it's horrible for anyone who's actually trying to get better at the game because you're giving up your most valuable experiences. And let me actually tell you what that means. So, what's the normal way for someone to rage quit? Well, it's usually when they're not having fun. And a friend of mine and I usually have this, we have a ton of COD debates, and his point on this one was that, yeah, okay, he understands why someone would rage quit because, they're not having fun and therefore, they want to be having fun in a game, and that's why they're playing it, is to have fun. But I guess my point was that you can see my own frustration here with pulling out a secondary, but my point there was that you don't need to be winning the game to have fun, or at least in my book. The way I always look at things is I'm extremely competitive. It's really funny because people always ask me like, oh, do you think you're a good sniper or something like that? I'm never really like, I always compare myself to myself, so I'm never gonna like look at another YouTuber and be like, oh yeah, I'm totally better than him because, well, I have no idea, we have select videos and it's not like we've ever played each other properly in a way. It doesn't matter. The point is, I don't do that. But at the same time, I'm extremely competitive. In fact, if you ask anybody who has known me for a little while, they will probably, have a little laugh at this whole discussion and say, yeah, he's really... And what that usually means for me is I try my best to win. And the funny thing is I don't tend to blame other factors. Like, I usually put the blame purely on myself, and I'm not gonna... Like, I might complain about someone playing in a campy way or something, but at the same time, I will be like, look, it's on me for getting killed by the camper. Like, I'm sucking. I should be doing better than this. I'm better. So, that's always that's always my drive. And I've always been like that, and I never really go into a game and go, oh, this guy is using a cheap tactic. I'm not gonna deal with this. Or, my enemy team has called in way too many kill streaks, and I just don't want to deal with them. I always do the exact opposite, as in I always stay in that lobby and I always try to deal with it as best as I can. And as frustrating and as annoying as it may be, I think that is by far the best way to go. Because if you don't, like, let's say you hate campers, and you get into a lobby with a bunch of campers, especially if they're, good campers who swap spots on you and actually go and get kill streaks and well, guess what? If you run from them and if you get frustrated and you rage quit, then you're always going to be afraid. You're never going to get better at dealing with those campers. And, well, at that point, you may as well be thinking about selecting a different game or rethinking why you play it. But the point is, if you rage quit, you'll be missing the most important learning experience because, let's not forget, like in COD or life or whatever, learning from mistakes is the main way we improve ourselves, and that's the best situation. It doesn't really matter whether you win or lose, but you stay in that game and you do your best to win it. And I've had many situations, let's say when it's a free-for-all, and I know I can win even if I have to swap to, let's say, a regular gun so I can have an easier time getting kills. I still do it just to remove that 0.5% chance of a doubt in my mind that that person in first place is, actually better or something. And the same thing works the other way around. Like, let's say Black Ops 2 competitive play, when I would play a very high-ranked team of 4 or something, and suddenly my team of randoms or friends or whoever would suddenly rage quit because we were, losing or we were down points in a objective type game, and I would stay in that game. I would play every last second of that game. I would try and get as many kills and kill those enemies as many times as I possibly can and make them earn everything in that game. And the funny thing is, I've had situations where those same guys from before would be in a game with me in a pre-match lobby or something, and one of them would recognize me and be like, "Ah, crap, it's Shorty." And it won't be because of YouTube. Like, they have zero clue I have anything to do with YouTube. It was because they played me and they know that even if they were doing really well and my teammates quit, I would stay and I would play and they would have to deal with me. And that's the way I suggest you play. Like, I hope you get the moral from this story, and I hope you learned something. But hey, it must have worked, because not to brag, but Black Ops 2 competitive, I got as high up as second in Masters. So must have been doing something right, as much as people were telling me, "No, dude, you should just quit and start another game and get points that way." It wasn't about the points. It was about sitting in there and doing whatever you have to. I mean, hey, you have a 1v4 chance. You might as well take it. Who knows? Eventually you might actually win one of those. Anyway, I hope you guys learned something today. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you did, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.